Rosie's most prized jewels, or not so dirty dancing. A stereotype it may be, but certainly this is one that most would agree isn't too painful. Ladies love their jewelry. It's a stereotype, so of course it's far from true for all. And of course, be it young girl or middle-aged mom, what counts as a favorite for one most certainly does not count as a favorite for the other. Make no mistake, though, for Rosie, there was one that was indeed most treasured of them all. Well, maybe two.
Sophie Nasimovitz was a very successful entrepreneur. She designed and handcrafted her unique, one-of-a-kind, special occasion earrings, big and glitzy, heavily encrusted with multicolored faux pearls, rubies, and diamonds. Sophie's ear baubles became an instant hit with the housewives residing in her apartment building located on Ocean Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. Strategically positioned on the front stoop of the red brick building, Sophie sat perched on her throne of aluminum and plastic, regally addressing her audience that she was now officially open for business. The drama was about to unfold. Drum roll, please, as her eager public vied for a closer and better view of Sophie's creations. Bending forward, she reached into the bulging Abraham and Strauss shopping bag resting on the floor beside her. Her hand, browned with age spots but beautifully manicured, slowly removed the first item for sale. The oohs and ahs rang out, assuring Sophie that this was indeed going to be a very profitable day. My mother Rose was one of Sophie's loyal and repeat customers. The purchase of one of those huge and shiny ear baubles was dearly cherished by my mom. Once in her possession, they were carefully wrapped in cotton batting and placed in a box set safely deep within the top drawer of her French provincial dresser. I can still hear her admonishing warning every time I reach into that drawer for the purpose of entertaining myself with a game of dress-up. Don't you dare touch my earrings. You can play, but you know the earrings are absolutely taboo. I want them safe and sound and in one piece when I go out dancing with your father, she would shout from the next room. I loved slipping the silver bracelet from Mexico onto my tiny wrist, holding up my arm as I stacked several more bracelets, placing rings on my fingers, draping necklaces around my neck, and pinning rhinestone flowers to my blouse. I felt like a bejeweled queen. Still, rifling through my mother's treasure chest of silver, gold, rubies, and diamonds, I would annoyingly shove aside Mom's other jewelry. The twisting wires reminding me of licorice sticks, a small silver metal box, black cylinders, and a metal headband was the other jewelry Mom had to wear every single day. I wasn't at all interested in that ugly array of twisted wire and metal, but I still understood that without those unattractive adornments, that my mother couldn't hear a thing. Mom first noticed her hearing loss soon after she quit her job at the dress factory. No longer having to endure the high-decibel world of droning sewing machines, enormous robotic arms, relentlessly pounding down on reams of fabric, passing down the assembly line, and the shouting across the floor as supervisors barked their orders to the workers, her newly silenced world was deafening. She was only 20 years old, and so embarrassed when she realized that her only option back into the hearing world was to wear a hearing aid. Her initial embarrassment eventually turned to acceptance. I can work with this. That was always her way. Although the cumbersome black and twisting wires dangling down from the headache-inducing headband and ending at the back of her thigh to be plugged into a metal box secured by an elastic band to the back of her leg, she would just turn the negative into a positive, declaring, "I'm just one of Dr. Frankenstein's proud creations." Modern technology eventually turned its attention to the hearing aid industry. The headband was replaced with a tiny container formed and fitted to be placed behind the ear. Although a wire was still necessary to be plugged into the metal box to receive audio, it was made to fit conveniently into a shirt pocket or, as in my mother's case, into her brassiere. How convenient, she would chirp. I no longer have to walk like John Wayne riding an invisible horse between his bowed legs, and even better, when I can't hear something, the first time all I have to do is whip out this little sucker from my bra and request that the speaker talk directly to the microphone. Wow, how lucky am I? A sense of humor, an inexhaustible love of life and thankfulness, and a childlike joyfulness overtaking her for no apparent reason was a very apt description of Rosie. With the stereo set on the loudest volume, she would dust the furniture and mop up the linoleum floors as she accompanied Ethel Merman belting out, "You can't get a man with a gun." Later, she would start to prepare dinner using her new and convenient pressure cooker. Unfortunately, the pressure cooker had some drawbacks for Mom. Often, unable to hear the frenetic warning whistle, the cooker would inevitably explode its contents of mashed potatoes onto the walls and ceiling of the kitchen. Not an unusual sight greeting my father when he returned home from work, but life's little glitches were never taken too seriously. Greeting my dad with her infectious smile, she would grab the stepladder, climb to the top, and begin scraping the mush from the ceiling. She was such a hoot that my dad couldn't resist a chuckle as he smiled back to his endearing wife.